Hi, my name is John Hatch, and this is a 5th, 6th grade math lesson on dependent and independent variables. And we are going to need these to be able to do this today. We need a math notebook and a pencil and graph paper. And if you need to go get that, this would be a good time, and we'll go over the math standards for this lesson. EEIC 9. Identify and describe relationships between two variables that change in relationship to one another. EEIC 9b. Analyze the relationship between the dependent and independent variables using graphs and tables, and relate these representations to each other. All right, the independent variable is the variable that is changed, like how much water you're adding to a plant, or how much weight is added to a bar that you're lifting. And it shows here in this picture that for this plant, it's the amount of water that can be added to it. That's the independent variable. The dependent variable is the variable that is affected by the change, such as when you're adding water, are you adding enough that the size of the plant changes? Or you could count the number of leaves that are growing on the plant. Or is your plant dead now and it's not receiving enough water? So that could be a dependent variable. All right, let's take a look at this. An orchard sells apples by the pound. Each day, P pounds of apples are sold, and the amount of money taken in is M. Which variable, P or M, depends on the other variable? Well, we're selling apples, and the more apples we sell, the more money we'll make. So the money is dependent on the apples. So the dependent variable is the money, and the independent variable would be the apples. And this says here that the independent variable is the pounds of apples, and the dependent variable is the amount of money that is taken in. All right, how about this one? The number of hours worked and the amount of money earned. Which is the dependent and which is the independent variable? Well, the more hours you work, the more money that you'll make. And we used a graph like this the last couple weeks. So we'll talk about the x-axis is the hours worked, and the y-axis is the money earned. So the independent variable is the number of hours, and the dependent variable is the amount of money that you make. In this one, we have a plant that's growing, and it's a bean, and we are measuring it every 10 days. And we can see here on this graph that after 10 days, it has grown 3.4 centimeters. When we got to the 20th day, we measured it, and it is now at 16.6 centimeters. 10 days later, it's now 30 days that this plant has grown, about 1 month, and it's at 28.7 centimeters. And finally, we get to 40 days, and it's grown 39.3 centimeters. We can also show it on as a chart. And on the left column, we have days. And on the right column, we have the number of centimeters that the plant has grown. What is the independent variable on this? Well, we're giving an amount of time, so that would be the days that are taking place. So the independent variable would be the number of days, and the dependent variable would be the amount of growth that's taken place, the number of centimeters. Oh, here's a cool one. This cannon shoots pumpkins, and we're going to be talking about the number of degrees of the angle of the cannon. And right now, it's at 0. And when the angle is 0, it can shoot a pumpkin 15.2 meters. When we set it at an angle of 10 degrees, now it can shoot a pumpkin 19.4 meters. When we change the angle to 20 degrees, it can now shoot at 23.5 meters. So as we change the angle, it seems to be shooting it further. That's pretty interesting. And now we set it up as a chart on this one, and we can see that on the chart that we have on the left side the number of degrees, 0, 10, 20, and 30. And over on the right side, the number of meters. And it's showing 15.2 meters, 19.4, 23.5, and 26.5 meters. And so we've shown it both as a graph and also as a chart. All right, let's try this one together. Our school is hosting a basketball tournament. There are 5 players on each team. There were 50 shirts printed for the tournament. Make a T-chart and a graph showing how many shirts will be given out if there are 8 teams. How many shirts will be left over? So when the first team shows up, on our chart we can write 1 for the team and 5 for the shirts. And over on our graph, we've gone over 1 on the x-axis and up 5 on the y-axis. The next team, we're at 2 teams and 10 shirts. And so we went over 2 on the x-axis and up to 10 on the y-axis. We continue it. There are now 3 teams and we're at 15 shirts. 4 teams is 20 shirts. 5 teams is 25 shirts. 6 teams is 30 shirts. 7 teams is 35 shirts. And 8 teams is 40 shirts. But we still have that question. How many shirts will be left over? Well, let's go back and look at the question. In the third sentence, it says, there were 50 shirts printed for the tournament. And when I look at my chart, it says that there were 40 shirts passed out. So we started off with 50 and we gave away 40. So we could do 50 minus 40 and that would equal 10 shirts. There'll be 10 shirts left over. Oh, good, it's your turn. All right, on this one, it says the school is having the annual breakfast fundraiser. Our class is asked to donate 40 eggs. How many cartons will need to be purchased to have at least 40 eggs? How many extra eggs will there be? So go ahead and use your graph paper and you can show how many eggs per carton. And then remember, there are 12 eggs, 1 dozen in each carton. How many cartons will need to be purchased? And then after you do that, you can have a T-chart that shows that as well. I'll give you 2 minutes to be able to solve this. Good luck. All right, let's take a look at how you've done. So we have a T-chart and we have our graph right here, and it shows 1 carton and 12 eggs. Then it shows 2 cartons and 24 eggs. The next one, 3 cartons and 36 eggs. 4 cartons and 48 eggs. But remember that question, how many extra eggs will there be? Well, it says that they need 40, but we have 48 eggs. So 48 minus 40 would be 8 extra eggs. All right. Well, we've just done a lesson on dependent and independent variables. And we found out that the independent variable is the thing that you can change, like how much water you're adding to a plant. And the dependent variable is something like how much it's growing or how many leaves it has. Thanks for doing this lesson with us today. Have a great day.